So, guys, there was a tragic piece of news about a cross-country skier who was hiking to the top of a summit in Alaska when all of a sudden him and his buddy came across a bear den, and in that den was a mama bear and a couple cubs, and she came out and mauled the guy, and he got to get airlifted out, and he barely survived it. Yeah, Will's got the video up there. Horrifically injured. And
Jeez.
not to be a bummer about all this, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about, how to handle a situation with a bear like that. Because just goes to show you never know, right? You could be going on a nice little hike, taking your pair of skis. It's a Wednesday, you got your buddy, you're both off work. You're like, screw it, let's go do some cross-country skiing. That's the kind of thing I do with my buddies for sure. So, I figured this was a good opportunity to just kind of discuss what to do in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, look, these guys probably had a little flask of what's something that warms you up in the cold? Either
Schnapps.
like a bourbon or schnapps,
whiskey.
We've all got our tastes. A little peppermint schnapps on the slopes, yes, please.
Ooh, yeah, that's gonna warm you up when you get to the top before you ski down. Next thing you know, you're facing down an 800,000-pound, not 800,000, but 800 or 1,000.
Right.
800,000 would be a
Alaskan brown
big bear. Yeah.
So this happened in Sitka, which is an island near Juneau. When I went to film bears, I was on you could see Sitka from the island I was on.
With BTG? Our
Yeah,
podcast
with BTG, our
Love that.
friend of the podcast.
Oh, wow.
And I only learned when I was making that show that depending on the type of bear that it is, what you do to keep yourself alive is completely different. And I would say most people do not know that. So I love this idea, Forrest.
Yeah. Well, there's an age-old rhyme, which is like, if it's a brown bear, fight back deer. If it's a black bear...
No, opposite, right?
No, sorry, what is it? If it's a brown bear, play dead deer. If it's a black bear, fight back deer, I think. I don't know. I might be mixing up all the words. But the idea is, if it's a brown bear, you want to play dead. And if it's a black bear, you want to fight back. And the reason for that is very simple. It's very biological, right? Brown bears are the alphas. They get up to 800 pounds. They're massive. They're the kings of their domain. So when challenged, they are going to win, and they are going to fight back. Now, in the same place that brown bears typically live, so do black bears. And when challenged, they are typically going to give up. It's like a wolf and a coyote, right? It's the same kind of thing. It's like two dogs. One is the alpha, one is the beta, right? The wolf's the alpha, the coyote's the beta. The coyote's never going to challenge the wolf. And so the same kind of logic applies. If you come across, and we'll back it up and talk kind of through the whole scenario, but if you come across a brown bear, basically just try and protect your organs and play dead. Like curl into a ball, protect your head, protect your stomach, play dead, and it should leave you. It is hard, but that's what you have to do, because it's not trying to eat you. It's not trying to murder you for food. It's just trying to defeat you so that it can leave. If it's a black bear, it's got that skittish kind of high anxiety temperament. And it's one of those things where if you act as prey, it's going to treat you as prey. If you act as a dominant force, it's going to turn and retreat. But before we even get into all of the details of that, I think it's important to talk about like the encounter and what you do at that point.
Sure.
Because that's what really leads to this, right? I don't know what happened with the skier specifically, other than what I just stated earlier. But when you run into a brown bear out in the woods, you want to just slowly, quietly back away. Keep eye contact so you can see it, but try not to look it directly in the eye so you're not challenging it. Quietly turn, retreat. Let it know that, oh, I've seen you. It's your habitat, right? This is your space. I'm not invading. It's an accident that I'm here. And you'd be surprised. Like these alpha animals are more understanding than you'd think. If you show that kind of respect, so to speak, and you're like, I'm sorry I came into your space. I'm leaving your space. I won't fuck with you. They'll get that. Whereas with a black bear, if you see it, and you're in its space, it's going to get that kind of anxious, nervous, anxiety like I was talking about. So you don't want to run. You want to stand your ground and make yourself as big as possible and be noisy. You should be loud and aggressive and the opposite and be like, this is my space, right? You got to be like, you got to kind of threaten the black bear and be like, this is my area. You go away. So it's two very different methodologies for the different species of bear. And then, like I said, if you get to, and heavens forbid, you get to the point where the animal engages because, maybe you popped over a den. You came over a little hill thinking it was a hill. Turns out it's a bear den, right? Like, it's too late. You can't evacuate the space. Then you have to imply those techniques. So you have to, if it's a brown bear, again, it's just trying to dominate you. It's trying to physically dominate you. So the sooner you play dead, you lay down, protect your organs, protect your head, go limp, the sooner it will leave you alone. If you fight back at all, it's going to keep trying to dominate you. It's going to keep trying to tell you that you're in its space, you're a threat. And that's a bad situation. I did a GQ video breakdown once, and I hadn't seen The Revenant in years, and they showed that scene where Leo gets mauled in The Revenant by the mama brown bear, and I forgot how good it was because it's just really very accurate. It's like he tries to get up, he tries to shoot it, the bear comes back. Don't do any of that. Just lay down, play dead, like let it win, let it dominate you so it'll leave you alone. Now with the black bear, smaller animal, again, lives in the domain of big predators like the brown bear. Fight back, be loud, be aggressive, punch for the nose, punch for the eyes, something that's going to injure it, and that animal will undeniably at some point assume it's losing and turn and flee because it's not worth it losing its sight or its smell, right, over the fight.
Interesting. Yeah. There was that video that came out, it was just like a couple months ago where that guy was being approached by the brown bear. I know we all kind of watched this together at one point. You guys remember where he's like walking
filming
backwards?
Like his kid or whatever? That guy?
Oh, you know what? This is ridiculous. It was like a mountain lion, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
the mountain lion.
Never mind.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, but it's a similar principle with a mountain lion.
That's what it reminded me of.
Contact. But it's when I was near Sitka where this happened, the people that lived on the island I was on, one of our bear guards was, had just been around bear his whole life. He'd lived there. He's one of the Tlingit guys. He's Bradley Trevor Greaves' Tlingit brother. This guy Alvin is a great guy. But he talked about having several times in his life, just as an outdoorsman, had experienced a false charge from a brown bear.
Mm-hmm. A mock charge, yeah.
Or a mock charge, yeah. I mean, these are these animals are 5 feet tall at the hump, right, on all fours. And so apparently brown bear will do that where they're kind of testing to see if you're prey, and you just kind of have to stand there and maintain eye contact while this thing runs at 25 miles an hour, making all sorts of noises, and might come up within, even like 3 or 4 feet.
Yep.
And you just kind of have to stand there and not move, and then they'll stop, and then maybe do it again a couple more times, but you just have to stand your ground, and that could be the difference between going home and eating dinner that night or getting airlifted out to a hospital or dying.
Yep.
Which is so hard to imagine how anyone could do that without pissing and shitting themselves.
Oh, God. No way. I mean, unless you don't have an amygdala like Forrest over here. But
when I was young and I was training in the bush under Stretch Ferreira, the safari guide, who I think I've mentioned before, he trained my family. He used to take me to walk with elephants where they would mock charge, and they're a lot bigger than 5 foot at the hump. And they'd stop about 10 to 15 feet away and kick up all the dust and scream in your face and everything. And same thing, and be like, come on, he'd take me into the bush to walk up on them to get them to mock charge, to test me to see if I was like brave enough to stand it out or if I turned and ran. And I did a lot. I mean, I must have done at age 14 probably 10 or 12 different mock charges with big bull elephants, and it's you come very close to peeing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine. That's how you got Mitch out of the rhinoceros incident that we learned about.
Exactly. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same training kicked in, and I was like, don't you move, stay right there. And same thing. And that's what it was. It was a mock charge from the rhino.
So how would you handle a polar bear? Same way you'd handle a grizzly or a big brown bear?
Mm-hmm. Same as a brown bear. Yep.
Except you'd be stuck in the snow.
Except you're probably fucked.
Yeah, you're gonna die.
They're definitely looking at you like food.
I asked an Arctic guide who had a few polar bear encounters the same question when we were in Greenland. I just said, so if a polar bear charges, what's the protocol? And he just goes, say your prayers, mate. Get done.
Yeah.
There's no mock charge. It's eating you.
But real quick, while we're on the topic, I just saw that the official protocol, if you're charged by a cougar or mountain lion, or if you encounter one, that they added something that I never knew about. Because, they say, like, if you can throw something, throw it. Obviously, don't bend down. Stand your ground. Eye contact. Shout. nasty, the nastiest stuff you can think of, so that your tone of voice is mean. But the other thing that they added was show it your teeth.
Yeah.
Show the mountain
Grin
lion
and
your
bear.
teeth. I didn't know that. That's so bizarre. It sees your teeth and is like, oh, it's got teeth too?
No, it's a threat symbol. Like, think about when a dog growls, right? It's baring its teeth. And that old is it Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone who could grin down a bear? That's where the saying comes from. It means you intimidate something so much using your teeth that you can grin it down. You can make it back off based on showing it your teeth. So that's a very natural animal behavior. When your cat hisses, when your dog growls, it's baring its teeth. It's basically like flexing. It's like these are my weapons, like you really want to go. And so same thing with a mountain lion, and I wouldn't recommend this with a brown bear, but same thing with a mountain lion or a black bear is like it's something I always do if I'm faced with a predator is start showing my teeth, because it just makes them think, oh, this thing is challenging me.
Interesting. If I did that with my dog, he would bite my face. And he's
There you
14
go.
pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, my weapon is
missing
my
19.
brain, so should I just be like, if I see a mountain lion?
I'm a human.
All right. Well, thanks for the tips, Forrest. I think you just saved at least 5 lives.
Good. That's
now,
that's why we do it. Rutep, what do we do? What do the people do?
Just, if you want your friends to survive a bear attack, tell them about this video. It's the only way they'll
Safety
ever survive
first.
a bear attack. Yep.
It's important.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's it.
Good night.
Good night.